Okay, so welcome everyone practicing now and in the future to THY Foundation this Thursday at 12 o'clock. We are going to begin on our backs for those of you online and in the studio. So go ahead and turn with your head pointed towards the kind of the center of the room. Good. And when you first lie down, stretch your legs out or bend your knees and see which position is more comfortable for you. So the legs could be stretched out or the knees could be bent with the feet planted on the floor. Good. So first, just feel into the position of your body. Notice just the shape of the body, the position that you're in. You've chosen knees bent or you've chosen legs long. So just notice what that feels like, the position of your arms, the position of your head, neck, spine. Notice how the body feels. And then take a few moments, take a few scans here, starting from the top of your head, gently scanning all the way down to the soles of your feet. And just do a check-in. Notice all of the details of the physical body, the subtle body, the mental body. So how does your body feel? Where might you be holding tension, tightness, blocked areas? And at the same time, notice also what feels really good, what feels open and energized and loose or relaxed. So just noticing where you are, where you're beginning in your practice today. Notice your overall energy level right now. Notice what's happening in your mind. Are you pretty scattered or a little bit more calm and peaceful? Are you anxious? Are you relaxed? And we're not judging any of this. We're just noticing, how am I doing right now? And then we get to see, how does this yoga practice today, how does it shift things or help me or affect things in any way? We get to check in again at the end. Good. And then coming into awareness of your breath. So try, I've got a bunch of expert yogis here, but try to not control the breath right now. See if you can just let the breath be natural. Get out of the head. Okay, now I need to smooth things out. I need to slow things down. See if you can start by just noticing what's happening with my breath. How does it feel to breathe right now? Where do I feel the breath happening in the body? So we know the actual act of breathing, of respiration, happens in the lungs, right? We fill the lungs up with air and then we let the air come out of the lungs. But this translates to the rest of the body expanding and contracting, helping this process to help the lungs fill up with air. So notice where you feel the breath. Do you feel it in the chest, in the rib cage, diaphragm area? Do you feel it in the belly? Do you feel it in all those areas? Just notice where the breath feels like it's happening most in your body right now. Again, without judgment, there's no right way or wrong way. We're just noticing. Good. And now staying with the experience of the breath. Now you can start to activate a little bit. So feeling further into the breath, allowing the breath to deepen all the way down to the belly if it's not already happening there. Allowing this effective expansion happening on the inhale, gentle contraction happening on the exhale. So this is our basic diaphragmatic breathing. So inhale. Feel the expansion, nice, deep, full breath, full inhale. And exhale when you're ready, letting everything soften down, taking a full exhale out. And just keep up with this process. Inhale, nice full breath, nice full expansion. Exhale, gentle softening, contracting, relaxing. And just stay at a comfortable pace and a comfortable rhythm for you. And if it feels good, you can allow a pause at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. So we're just kind of deepening the breath. We're letting this breath be more full, more expansive here. And anytime if the mind wanders, just bring it straight back to the breath. You can even kind of narrate what's happening. On the inhale, I expand. On the exhale, I gently contract. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, contraction. Allow the breath to become even deeper, even fuller. Let it be comfortable. We don't want to take so long to breathe that it's causing panic or anxiety. Let this be a full, comfortable, deep breath. Good. A few more rounds, just as you are. Good. And allowing these full breaths to remain with you for the duration of the practice. So just keep up with the diaphragmatic breathing, and if the mind wanders or you become focused on what we're doing with the body, just remember the breath is there in the background, and you can always come back every time we pause in the pose and just pay attention to this diaphragmatic breath. So if you're not already there with bent knees, go ahead and bend your knees now. Take the feet about hip distance apart, and then we'll come into some windshield wipers. So letting the knees fall to the right and to the left, finding a nice, slow, comfortable rhythm. Allowing those hips to begin to loosen up. Allow the pelvis to naturally tilt from side to side. Windshield wipers, feel the movement in the hips, feel the massage at the base of the spine, maybe massage in the glutes, sacrum area. Good. And then take the feet even wider, so maybe outside edges of the feet to the outside edges of the mat, and keep windshield wipering. So just a little bit wider stance. Make sure the feet are comfortable. Make sure the knees are okay. Adjust as necessary. That's it. Feel the movement right to left, and even feel the pause as you pause on either side. Good. And the next time the knees come to the right, let's all pause together. So let the knees hang out towards the right. Let the head gently fall to the left. And just pay attention to your breath here. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, contraction. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the energy flows in this position. Good. Next inhale, let the knees float back to center. Exhale, knees fall to the left. Head floats to the right. So just opposite of where we were before. Pause. Pay attention to your breath. Remain the witness of your experience. Inhale, exhale. Good. And then let the knees float back up to center. Go ahead and draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Good. So you can rock a little from side to side. You can circle into ankles, wiggle into toes. Good. And then pause back in center, really squeezing those thighs in close, squeezing those thighs in towards the belly and the chest. And let's all, if it's comfortable, draw your nose up to your knees. So let the back of the neck lengthen out. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel the compression. Good. And then slowly release the shoulders, neck, and head down. We'll keep the knees bent, but let's take our hands to our knees. So right hand to right knee, left hand to left knee, and let the feet and ankles be relaxed. We're going to do some circles here. And if your arms don't end up being long enough and you want to deepen the circle, it's okay to let the hands kind of glide up the thighs. So let's just start circling the knees towards the right or counterclockwise direction, as though you're drawing circles with the knees in the ceiling or in the sky. So just let those knees circle around one direction. Good. And then switch directions of those circles. Opposite directions. So to the left or clockwise this time. That's it. Feel into the motion. We're getting even deeper into those hip joints. Hopefully to combat maybe a lot of sitting that we might have been doing. Get into the pelvis, into the hips. Good. And now let each leg work individually and go free form. So you can leave your hands on your knees or behind your thighs or whatever you like, and just let the legs do different things. So the right leg might be circling and the left might be circling in a different direction. You may want to let the feet kind of float up and get a little bit more chaotic. But now what we're trying to do is get even deeper into the hip joints by moving the legs independently from each other. So some people I know are going to want to be real symmetrical about this. So if one knee goes out, the other knee is going to go out. That's totally fine. Or you can just let it be random and just kind of toss those legs around and just get real deep into those hip joints. Have some fun here. Let it be loose. Maybe you just want your hands to come to the ground and the legs just kind of independently wiggle around. You can still wiggle into the ankles and the toes here, maybe some sort of a bicycle movement or circling movement. See how connected you can get, how deep you can get into those hip joints. Good. So a couple more. Make sure you're balanced out. Good. And then let's pause. Extend both legs up to the ceiling. And first we'll just point the feet, point the toes. Then we'll flex the feet, and then alternate pointing and flexing each foot. Good. And then just pause, let the feet be relaxed. The legs are still extending up to the ceiling. As you're pausing here, gently draw your navel in towards your spine to help for support. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale, not holding the breath, even if it's a bit challenging. Full, deep diaphragmatic breaths here. Good. Then let's hug the knees in the chest. Give yourself a nice little break. You can pause with the hug or you can rock a little from side to side. Good. And then let's release the feet down to the mat. Knees are bent. We're going to line ourselves up for a bridge. So generally knees in line with hips, in line with ankles and feet. And if you need to take a wider stance, you may do so. Just make sure the knees stay steady and the feet are pressing down equally between the heels and the balls of the feet. We don't want the feet to roll from side to side. Let the arms release down by the side. On your inhale, let's tuck that pelvis and reach the hip bones straight up to the ceiling. Good. Exhale, slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time. And if once you come down, you need to make an adjustment to make the knees or something feel better, go ahead and do so. But let's keep going. Inhale, tuck those hips, reach the hip bones straight up to the ceiling. Exhale, slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time. So keep going, do 5 more rounds at your own pace. Press the feet strong into the ground. Let the knees stay steady. Articulate the spine. You can pull the navel into the spine. You can activate into your hamstrings and into your glutes to help for stability here. We just roll up and down at a nice, steady pace. Nice and strong, nice and stable. And after your 5 rounds, or somewhere around 5 rounds, if you lost count, just pause back down with the spine on the ground. I've definitely lost count in how many I was doing. All this chatter, 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 talking, talking, talking. So maybe do 1 more round if you're not sure, and then come back down and pause. Notice how you feel. Notice the sensations in your body. Know how the breath is feeling right now. Notice all the details. Good. And then let's extend the arms out to the sides into a T, palms face down. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, leaving those palms down, leaving the shoulders pressed down. We're going to do a little twisting here. What we're going to try to do is keep the thighs squeezing together. So we want to keep the legs squeezing together and keep the knees drawing in towards the chest or up towards the arm. So take an inhale where you are. And on your exhale, let the knees float towards the right. Now the right leg doesn't have to come all the way down to the ground. It can hover. And then we'll inhale, draw the knees right back up to center. Let the knees come back up towards your chest. Exhale, both knees fall to the left. Good. And then inhale, draw them back up to center. Pull the navel in nice and strong. Now keep going at your own pace, nice and steady. We don't want to rush here. The inhale draws you up, and the exhale lets the knees fall to one side. See if you can keep squeezing them together and drawing the knees either into the chest or up towards the arm. Keep pulling that navel and strong abdominals here. Good, and the next time the knees fall to the right, we will pause. So let the legs just come down in a relaxed position, knees bent. And again, let both shoulders relax down, the head can turn to the left. A little bit deeper of a twist than we did before. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale. Good. Next inhale, we'll draw the legs through center. Exhale, let the knees fall to the left, head falls to the right. Soften down, let the shoulders relax down. Soften into the twist, pay attention to the breath. Inhale, exhale. Good. On your next inhale, draw those legs back up to center. Give yourself a nice squeeze. Wrap your arms around your shins or behind your thighs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. Then extend the legs long on the mat and reach your arms up overhead behind you. So let's get a nice long stretch here. Extend your toes away from your fingers. Get as long as you possibly can. Reach, 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 reach. And take 3 big inhales and exhales here. Really feeling into the inhale. Inhale, expand, expand, expand through the chest. Reach, 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 reach. 3 breaths, just like that. Good. And then no matter where you are on your breath count, let's all inhale together. Inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to make a C shape on the right side. So let the feet and the upper body glide towards the right. So it's like we're doing a standing crescent moon, but we're doing it on our backs. The feet walk to the right. The arms kind of walk to the right. We have a C shape on the right side of the body. Good. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale here. Good. Next, inhale, walk, glide back through center. Exhale, off to the other side. Keep lengthening, extending, extending, extending. Get longer. Open up through the right side body, the right side of the ribs. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale. One more breath. Inhale, glide yourself back to center. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Good. Pause for a moment. Check back in with yourself. How does your body feel right now? Are things starting to feel a little bit more open and energized? Just notice how the practice is starting to settle into you today. Good. And then when you're ready, we're just going to roll over onto your bellies like a pencil. Apparently my coined word for those of you who've been practicing with Mariah. She says, like Courtney says, like a pencil. And let's pause. Elbows out to the side, one palm on top of the other, forehead rests down. Let the shoulders be soft. And now really feeling into the breath here. So this is a great place to feel that diaphragmatic breath. As you inhale, the diaphragm flattens out and you'll start to feel it pressing into the mat. As you exhale, the diaphragm goes back to its original place and it kind of hollows out. And that's where that contraction, that softening comes in. So feel the diaphragm as it's moving. It's right towards the kind of bottom middle of your ribs. You'll feel that diaphragm pressing into the ground on the inhale and softening away on the exhale. Stay in awareness right there. Good. And as long as this arm position is still comfortable for you, go ahead and stay here. Otherwise, if you need to make an adjustment, you can take your hand to opposite elbow. You could have your arms down by your side, whichever is most comfortable. So we're going to go ahead and float the feet up towards the ceiling. So just bending into the knees. And first, just flex the feet and squeeze the heels in towards the bottom. You may not feel very much movement, and that's okay. But we're just kind of squeezing. Yeah, same thing just happened to me. And yeah, instant cramp. If you've been doing walking and running, instant cramp. If that happened, then don't squeeze, just move. I'm like, that happened on my left leg. So squeeze the heels in if you can. Good. And then just release, let the feet float back up, and we'll do some windshield wipers this way. So let the feet float to the right and to the left. We'll stretch them out too, Anne, I promise. We're gonna stretch out the backs of the legs. Good. So windshield wipers, feet float to the right, float to the left. Good. Let those feet float back up to center and then let them come back down to the ground. But let's keep the feet flexed. So the tips of the big toes are probably touching the ground. Let the toes touch the ground. And then we're just going to tap the feet into the ground. So we're going to do some toe taps. So tap, 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 alternating right and left. Tap, 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 tap. Good. Just tapping those toes out here. Good. And then pause. Let the top of the left foot come onto the mat. The right foot is still flexed. So now flexing that right foot as much as you can, bending into the right knee at first. Let those right toes touch the ground and then allow the right knee to lift up off the ground. So now we're really starting to stretch into the back of the right leg. You may want to stay here, or you may want to feel like you're actively walking those right toes up closer towards your leg or your hip. So you kind of lift the leg up and take the toes and kind of walk them on your mat. Depending on the flexibility of your foot, you may even be able to feel the ball of your foot press into the mat. So yeah, our foot is on the mat. I know it's kind of a tricky one for me to describe, but it's like you're walking that leg, walking those toes up the mat. So my knee is off the mat, my toes are down, and I do have some flexibility in my feet, so I can actually press the ball of my foot into the mat. If that doesn't happen, a lot of you are shaking your heads, that's fine. But press into the toes of the mat and feel like you're reaching that right heel behind you. So we're really extending through the right heel. Toes or the ball of the foot, something is touching the ground. That foot is flexed as much as possible. That heel reaches back. Is that making sense? And yeah, if you're cramping, then just move in and out of it. Good. And then we'll release that right knee down, that right leg down, the top of the right foot on the mat. Let it relax and let's just wiggle that right heel back and forth. So let the right heel move right to left and just kind of rock that right leg around. Because I know that was an intense stretch for some of you, some of us. Good. Now let's do the other side. So the right leg, right foot is relaxed. Now we flex the left foot and first just press the toes into the mat with the knee bent. Then let that knee come up off the mat. So the leg is nice and straight here. And then start to see if you can walk those toes up further up your body while the left heel reaches back. So we're stretching in deep into that left leg, the back of the left leg. Probably feel it most in like your calf or your Achilles tendon, maybe the heel and the foot itself. And then just breathe through it. You can keep walking those toes closer, or you can just pause in a place that feels good. Just keep extending that left heel back, back, back. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale. Good. Then release that left knee down. Release the top of the foot, top of the left foot to the mat. And then again, just let that left heel kind of wiggle right to left. Just loosen into that left leg. Let that leg just kind of rock back and forth. Loosen it up. Loosen it up. Good. And then let the left leg relax. Let's lift our heads up out of our hands. Take the hands outside the shoulders, palms down. Press ourselves up and back to a child's pose. And for this first one, make it a comfortable child's pose. So you choose. Maybe the knees are wide to the mat. Maybe they're in line with the hips. Maybe the arms are stretched out in front of you. Maybe the arms are relaxed behind you. Maybe the elbows come down and you just kind of want a gentle, chill child's pose here. So you choose. And then come back into focusing on your breath. Inhale, exhale. Big, deep, full inhale, full expansion. Exhale, feel the softening, the contraction. And as you breathe here, see if you can allow with each exhale, can you let some tension go? Can you exhale it out? Can you move that tension out through the breath? The breath is connected with our energy, our prana. And that's what we're doing in this practice is we're basically moving energy. We're allowing the body to open up and find space so that the energy can flow freely through the body. But anything that's feeling stuck and tight, see if you can breathe through it. Let it soften, let it go. Good. And then wherever you are, extend your arms long out in front of you. And if the knees are wide, go ahead and line them up with your hips. So now we're in a slightly more active version of our child's pose. Let's plant those hands down, spread the fingers wide, really extend those arms out long in front of you. So first we're going to do some dynamic movement that you all will remember from the long ago past in my classes. So we want to press the tops of the feet down, the knees, the hands. We have 6 points pressing down. Keep anchored there. On your inhale, you'll just press up to all fours. So you don't have to adjust any hand position, just press up to all fours. And then on your exhale, sit right back to where you were. So we're just going to keep moving. We're not going to articulate the spine just yet. All we're doing, inhale, we press up. Exhale, we press back. The shoulders may come all the way up towards the wrists, but they don't have to. It's fine. Inhale, pressing up, just nice movement. Exhale, sitting back. Now we can add in a little articulation. So if you want to add in a little cat-cow, inhale, press up. Then the spine arches, chest reaches forward, look up. Exhale, round it out and sit your bottom all the way back to your heels. So articulating as much or as little as you'd like. Inhale up, exhale back. Good, couple more just like this. Keep those hands, knees, and feet anchored. Good, and the next time you sit back to child's pose, go ahead and pause, soften, relax. Good. Then once again, reach those arms as far out in front of you as you can. Walk those hands really far away. We're going to do something similar, but change it up just a little bit. So this time on the inhale, we press up. Let the shoulders come all the way so that they're stacked over the wrists. Start to pull the chest through the arms. And depending on how the spine feels, you can let the hips sink down. So it's kind of like an up dog with our knees on the ground. Only go so far as is comfortable. Keep that navel pulled in. Exhale, we just sit right back to child's pose. So now we're moving back and forth. The inhale brings you forward. Listen to yourself, nice and steady. Only go so far as is comfortable for you right now at this moment. Maybe you slowly work into a deeper back bend. If you haven't done any back bending in a while, don't worry about it. We just start from where we are, wherever we are. Maybe it may be challenging or it may feel really good because we haven't done this in a while. Let your experience be your experience. Couple more. Feel into the body. Move in a way that feels good to you. Good. And the next time you sit back to child's pose, pause once again. And if your body allows, try taking your arms down by your side. So the feet kind of come to the hands kind of come to the feet. Really let those shoulders round out. So a little counter stretch for that back bending. Let the forehead soften down, round it out. Stay with your breath. Inhale, exhale. And if it's not comfortable, if you feel like you're falling forward in this pose, then you can take the arms in front of you and just bend into the elbows and rest on your forearms and let the shoulders be really soft. Good. And then once again, extend those arms long out in front of you. Plant those palms down, spread the fingers wide. So those of you who are just coming back after a long hiatus, I know you've been missing down dog. So let's go ahead and do it. Curl those toes, press those hips up, downward facing dog. Now don't get too excited. We're not going to stay here. So pause, come into the pose, and then lift the heels up high. Bend into the knees and bring yourself right back down to child's pose. Nice and steady, nice and slow. This is our movement. So we sink into child's pose, pause, then we come back up, curl the toes, nice and steady, nice and focused, downward facing dog. Feel each movement of the body. You can start with the knees bent if that's more helpful. So we slowly transition back and forth. Child's pose, down dog. And if you want to follow the breath, a good method might be to inhale in between and exhale as you come into the pose. So exhale into down dog. Inhale as you lift the heels up, bend into the knees, slowly come down. Exhale, sit the hips back to the heels, child's pose. So back and forth, nice and gentle, steady and slow. Let's do a couple more rounds as long as your shoulders allow. If the shoulders don't allow and you're done, then pause in child's pose. Good, and then let's all make our way back to child's pose next time you come down. Take another rest. Maybe you want to take the knees wide. Maybe the arms come down by the sides. Maybe even the shoulders kind of roll down and maybe one cheek rests to the side. Just melt down in this child's pose. Good, and then gently press up out of the child's pose. Extend your body long on your mat and then just make your way onto your back. Or basically just come back onto your back in the easiest way. Your easiest way or most fluid way might not be my fluid way. Go ahead and grab that block. Just get it near you. We're not going to use it just yet. Good. So allow the knees to bend, feet on the mat, and just a few rounds coming back into our windshield wipers, knees to the right, knees to the left. Good. And then let the knees come back up to center once you're balanced out. First, hug the thighs back into the chest. Then take one hand, right hand on right knee, left hand on left knee, and let the knees open up out to the sides. And just pause here so the hands can be gently on the knees or kind of inside the thighs. And just pause here. Let the lower leg be loose and just take a couple breaths. Good. Then let's bring this up to a happy baby. So you can grab your hands behind your thighs. So right now, the upper legs are not going to move. From here, well, they may shift a little bit. From here, we want to keep those knees wide. Let the feet, the soles of the feet float up towards the ceiling. And now we're on a happy baby. So you can take your hands behind your thighs if that's comfortable. You can take your hands somewhere on your shins or on your calves. Maybe you take the hands to the outside of the feet and they grab onto the soles of the feet. Maybe you take your peace sign fingers and wrap them around your big toes. So find your position, find your happy baby. And then choose, do I want to rock around here or do I want to pause? Maybe I want to do a little bit of both. But doing your best to keep those knees, those legs opening, right? So we've got a little hip opener here, but at the same time, we're deepening the stretch. So we're drawing the knees down towards the ground. And you can even deepen it by pressing your sacrum into the ground. Get that spine long here. Let the shoulders be loose. Couple more breaths as you are. Good. And then allow the soles of the feet to come together. So you can take your hands maybe around your ankles, let the soles of the feet to come together. The knees are still open up wide. So it's a reclined butterfly, but our feet are up off the ground. And then as deep as you'd like to go, you can keep those feet pressed together, but draw the ankles in kind of closer to your body or closer down. Good. And then release the grip of the feet and extend the legs straight up to the ceiling. And a couple of times, just flex and point your feet, alternating one and then the other. Good. Then bend into the knees. Let the feet come to the ground. So feet are about hip distance apart. The ankles are generally under the knees. Go ahead and grab your block and we'll come into restorative bridge. So let the hips float up off the mat. Let's do the block on the lowest setting. Place the block below your sacrum. And then let the sacrum rest down on that block. So you just want to make sure the block's not too low, like kind of down in the tailbone area, and you don't want it too high. You shouldn't feel the block touching any of the vertebrae, just the sacrum, kind of that flat plate at the base of the spine. That's where we want to be. Good. Make sure the shoulders, neck, head, arms are relaxed. Let the hips soften so nothing is moving. The body is still, but allow it to just soften in this pose. And the reminder is stay here as long as you'd like. If it gets uncomfortable at any point before I bring us out, come out on your own. We don't want any kind of shrieking or shooting pain in the back anywhere. Good. So coming back into paying attention to the rhythm of your breath. And then go ahead and even out that rhythm. So inhale equals exhale. You can start perhaps with a count of 4, counting silently to yourself, inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 4 counts. And if 4 is not a good number, you want to go shorter, you want to go longer, it doesn't matter how long you go. We just want the inhale to equal the exhale. The length of the inhale equals the length of the exhale. Even breathing, 1 to 1 breath. Keep counting silently to yourself. Let the body, the jaw be relaxed. Just count the breath, feel into the breath. Now release the counting of the breath and just pay attention to how the breath feels in the body. And then we'll gently bring ourselves out, suppressing into your feet, letting your hips come up off the block. Just remove the block off to the side. Slowly let the spine come down. Pause for a breath or two if you can. If you need immediate movement, draw your knees into your chest or do some windshield wipers. Good. And then let's all hug the knees back in. One more squeeze. Draw your nose up to your knees if you can and squeeze yourself into a tiny little ball. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Really tight. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Good. And then slowly let the entire body release down to the mat. If you need any more movement, wiggle, anything, take it. Otherwise, find yourself in your Savasana, your most comfortable resting position today. It may be traditional with the legs extended long, body long, arms down by the side. You may want support under your knees or under your head. Maybe you prefer knees bent, or today you're more comfortable on your side or on your belly. Just pick a position where you can comfortably rest in stillness. Get out any last little wiggles, itches, twitches, movements, and set the intention to be still so that you can receive the full effects of this relaxation practice, of this Shavasana. Good. And then find yourself as you breathe with each soft exhale. You feel a wave of relaxation flow down the body. With each exhale, just imagine this relaxation floats from the top of the head all the way down to the soles of your feet. Each exhale, this relaxation washes over you. You soften down even more. The body gets heavy, comfortably still, comfortably in peace. And then just watch yourself in this relaxation. Remain the witness, staying present. Just staying aware of the physical body and the breath and your energy and this feeling of relaxation as you pause here in this stillness. Gently bringing yourself back, taking some conscious breaths, feeling back into your body and finding some gentle movement, subtle movement of the body, eventually drawing your knees in towards your chest and rolling over to your right side and pausing in your fetal position. Allow the eyes to remain closed. Pause, pay attention to your breath. Notice how you feel. Good. When you're ready, pressing into your hands, use your upper body and lift yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Try as little movement as possible. We'll close with our palms together in prayer position at heart center. Feel those palms actively pressing together and just scan through the body. Notice how you feel. Notice all the levels. How does my physical body feel? How does my mental body feel? My energetic body, my breath. Notice all the details. How does it feel to be sitting right here? And then we do our best to not remain attached, so we just let go of this experience. Know that it has settled into our bodies, into our minds appropriately as it needs to. So thank you everyone so much for being here in person, live, on the screen live, and perhaps in the future. I thank each and every one of you so much. And I wish you all much peace and love and joy. Namaste. 12:55 on the dot, my dear.